So if you have a ball, we're gonna start on our back, laying on the ball. That's not gonna work for the toilet paper, but I'd like you to keep it close by. So if you have the toilet paper, just keep it close by where you can grab it without getting up. If you do have a ball, we're going to place it right under our sacrum. So that's right at the very low back, and it's right above the seam of your behind. I like to think about it where the good Lord split you, yeah? Okay guys, here we go. So we're draping over the ball, and we want to have our ASIS, our little sticky outy bits here, sticking straight up to the sky. From there, what we're gonna do is just find that length and that space between the navel and the pubic bone. If you don't have the ball, you're just flat on the floor. Now we're going to think about the deep abdominal connection, including the pelvic floor. We're inhaling, elongating the spine as we float the right leg up into tabletop. If you're on the ball, it's wobbly at the top. And then on the way down, we're using the psoas and the hamstring to lower the leg down. Keep the pelvis quiet, everyone. Think about the breath, the inhale, sending breath into the pelvic floor as we elongate the spine and float the leg up. And then we're gonna exhale as we bring it back to the floor. So we're going at your own pace. It's an inhale to lift, elongating the spine. And it's an exhale, and that's drawing the pelvic floor up. So we're gonna talk a lot about the pelvic floor today. It's not only something that we need to talk about if you've had kids, it's also something that we need to address for the deepest core conditioning and the best results in the entire body. So keep working with this march at your own pace. Keep working, and you can have the ball or not. What we're wanting to talk about today is the fact that the core is sandwiched between the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. So if we want full functionality and movement and pliability, whether we're a man, whether we're a woman, whether we've had kids, whether we didn't, the pelvic floor is an integral part of finding deep core activation, okay? Let's go for two more. Even your body out, and we're going to then take the ball or the toilet paper into our hands. So finish the second leg setting down. Everyone remove the ball from under your back if it was there. Grab your toilet paper if you have it. And now we're going to place the toilet paper or the ball in between our thighs. So if you have the toilet paper, it's gonna look like this in between your legs. Okay, here we go guys. Arms float up to the sky. You can interlace your hands underneath the base of the skull, or you can inhale and float up. I'm trying to get the shoulder blades off of the mat, but notice there's still lots of length from the navel to the pubic bone. Now what we're gonna do is use that connection of the ball or the toilet paper to find the pelvic floor in the midline of the body. As we inhale, bring the legs up. Exhale, lower them down. Inhale, we're thinking about the femur head sinking in deeply, the sitting bones broaden, and then we're gonna exhale to set it down. Keep working at your own pace. Having the spacer in between the thighs helps us to access the midline of the body, which connects us to the deep abdominals, including the pelvic floor. We're gonna do 4 more, and for these last 4, I'd like you to think of less pressure in on the toilet paper or the ball. Think about coming away from it just a little bit without dropping it, and you'll feel the inner thighs really activate, and then that activates the low belly. Let's go for 1 more just like that. And set the legs all the way down and slowly rise up. Now we're gonna be in a seated position, and we still have the ball or the toilet paper between the thighs. So from here, we're gonna go into a little teaser. I want you to really find the ab connection here. That ball is gonna help us. So what we're gonna do is take our hands behind our thighs. We're gonna sit in a tall diagonal lean. So it took me a second to kind of find that, where the femur heads are sinking into the pelvis. I have a nice long spine, and the deep abs are drawing up and under the ribs. I'm gonna inhale to elongate the spine with breath. And now on the exhale, I'm going to invite the legs up off the floor into a teaser position. I'm using my hands to help me access deep abdominals by plugging the femur bones into the hip sockets. Try to see if you can get your toes about knee height. If this is feeling really grippy on the front side of your hips, I'm gonna ask you to slide your tailbone under you, so you go into just a very shallow curl in the low belly area, but the upper back hasn't really changed. If it's accessible to you, arms can come up and out at a diagonal. Plug the femur heads in deeply, try to imprint in on the ball and then send a little tension away from the ball and see if you can find a better connection one way or the other. Do the one that works best for your body. We're holding and breathing for 8, for 7. Find more length with every inhale. For 4, for 3, for 2, and with control, we're gonna lower the feet all the way down. Set your ball or the toilet paper off to the side. We're gonna go into our archetypal squats that are going to get us very low to the floor. We're gonna start at the top and go as low as you can for your knees today. It's different for everyone. The idea is we're trying to broaden the pelvic floor to allow pliability in the muscles rather than only trying to strengthen and tighten, okay? So here we go. Come into a wide turned out position with your feet. I like to start with hands on my hips. We're gonna go doing this together nice and slow. So we're gonna lower down about 1 inch, okay? Not very far. Just check in, you'll start to feel the legs and glutes fire up. See if you can think about lowering another inch as the crown of the head reaches up in opposition. You should feel the deep abdominals engage. All right, check in with the feet. The soles of the feet should have equal weight across them. Lowering down 1 more inch as the crown of the head reaches up. You might even feel shaking. That's a good thing. All right, let's go down a bit more. Think about those sitting bones broadening. It's like a diamond broadening as we lower. Again, only as low as works for your body today, guys, all right? We're gonna go down 1 more inch. Thinking about that inhale, lengthening the spine as we work. We're gonna lower down 1 more inch. Every exhale is actually lifting the pelvic floor with buoyancy. Every inhale is elongating and sending the pelvic floor more broadly across the base of the spine. Here we go. Let's go down a tiny touch more. Oh, it's getting really hot down here, isn't it? Really spicy, really spicy. And eventually, the end goal is to reach the elbows to the inner thighs. If that's not for you today and you are here, this works as well. So we're still getting the same focus, but if we can get really low, that's improving our flexibility through our hips and our ankles, and it's providing pliability and suppleness to the pelvic floor muscles. You can think of them kind of like a hull of a boat, right? So it's like a dome shape in the body. All right, here we go. Let's go up 2 inches. Woo, it is spicy right there. And then let's go up 1 more inch. I'm actively imprinting in on the prayer position. I'm gonna bring my torso upright a little bit more as we get higher. We're gonna raise up. And let's go 1 more inch up. You should feel a lot of shaking. Find that breath, elongating the spine. Let's go 1 more inch up. It's counterintuitive, but I'm shaking up here. This is the mid-range of movement still. And then we're gonna come all the way up into full extension. Good news, we're gonna do that again. Here we go together. 1 inch down, inner thigh spiral outbound, equal weight across the soles of the feet. And another inch down. So as we're working, guys, really think about the pelvic floor broadening, and that is allowing the femur heads to sink in. We're gonna go another inch down as the inner thighs spiral up. And we're gonna go another inch down. Oh, and we're gonna go another inch down. Really think about those femur heads spiraling in. We're gonna go another inch down. And then again, if you can get to the bottom of that squat, that's great. Think about the outer thighs spiraling, the inner thighs wrapping all the way back to the glute med. We have equal weight across the soles of the feet. And see if you can send breath to broaden and release the pelvic floor. It's not ever only about gripping or tightening. We want to find release and eccentric length in the muscles, even the pelvic floor. Let's go for 4, 3, 2. On the inhale, we're gonna rise all the way slowly back up and come to the top. Okay, all right, let's keep working. We are going to take that ball again, and we're gonna put it between the thighs, but we're gonna go into a squat today. So we're gonna have the ball between the thighs, all 10 toes are shining straight forward, hands are at your hips, and we are going to exhale as we crease. Notice what's happening here. Even though we've drawn the legs closer together, the sitting bones still broaden. That's the pelvic floor. And then we're gonna inhale as we bring it up. So I like to think about the pelvic floor almost like a paper fan, like a Japanese fan maybe, where as you lower down, it's broadening like this, more parallel to the floor. And then as you raise up, see if you can lift from the base of those sitting bones, and you'll find deep core activation just like that. Exhale as we lower down, extra challenge, arms come up and overhead. Inhale as we lengthen and raise. Exhale, find the pelvic floor, suppleness, broadness as we exhale, to lower down today. Inhale as we lengthen up. We're gonna do a single arm reach, so we're gonna do opposing diagonals now. Right arm comes up, left arm lowers back, that's an exhale. Inhale, two arms at the sides. Exhale, left arm comes up. Inhale as you rise. Keep working. The idea of working these opposing diagonals is to plug into our diagonal sling that's going to cross to the opposite waistline, and then because we have that ball or the TP, you might feel even all the way across in a little additional zigzag to the inner thigh. So this is what's stabilizing the core and the pelvis, this diagonal sling notion, and that crosses through the pelvic floor. So let's go ahead and do two more, even your body out. If you are even already, you can do two arms up at a time for the last few. Let's hold that last one down. Everyone draw both arms up if that is accessible to you. And we are going to raise both heels up. You'll feel the pelvic floor broaden even further. And then we'll imprint the heels back down through the floor. And then we'll peel them up. And we'll imprint them back down. Let's go for two more here. Peeling your heels up. And imprinting back down. The navel is drawing up and in the whole time. That's also accessing the deep abdominals. Hold the heels up. Send the pelvis 1/2 inch lower. Isometric challenge. Bring the arms along to the side. Balance challenge for 6. Get those triceps really active by reaching the arms long for 3, for 2. And imprint your heels through the floor. The bones go through the floor and the muscle pins draw you all the way up. All right, let's continue working with kind of going back and forth between the broadness of the pelvic floor and more narrow, okay? So let's take our feet into a wide turned out position again. We're gonna take the ball or the TP, and we are going to come into one plie. So toes are turned out, knees are aligned, big toe, second toe. I'm gonna show you from the profile, we have our sternum over the pubic bone, navel is drawing up and in between the shoulder blades. Float the arms up and overhead. So now we have the elbows bent a lot, arms are up and overhead. And we're gonna mobilize the neck today. So we're gonna look up at the ball, and then the left hand is gonna take the ball, and we're gonna do a little side flexion towards the left. So the right ribs fan open, and then we're gonna come up and overhead. We didn't change the height of the plie. And now the right hand has the ball, and we're fanning the right ribs and bringing it up and overhead. I'm gonna show you from the front. Keep working as we arc. We're fanning the ribs, keeping the plie nice and quiet, keeping the navel drawn up and in, and side bend to fan the ribs to the other side. So we're working through the waistline. We're toning and conditioning the legs and the glutes. We're mobilizing the scapula, the shoulder blades, and the neck. Keep the navel drawn up and in the whole time, guys. Bring the ball above your head. Lower it down in front of your chest. Hold here. If you have a ball, think about peeling it apart, broadening your middle back. We are going to peel both heels up off the floor. If that's accessible to you, keep your feet flat. If that's not great for you today. And now we're gonna butterfly back. Whew. It's wobbly, isn't it? We're gonna butterfly back. Think about that movement. Keep working in your own body. Think about that movement of the inner thigh wrapping up and all the way around to the glute med, which is on the back side of the leg. So it's that spiraling sensation of the thigh rather than the knees poking in and out. Let's go for two more there. Okay, the ball is still being peeled apart. We're gonna hold and breathe, hold here, and we are going to send the heels down through the floor. And then we're gonna use the inner thigh spiraling, same idea, to pick them up. And let's send the heels back down. Extra cardio challenge, the ball can go overhead or just empty hands. Picking it up and setting it back down. Let's go for two more. And this is gonna be our last one. Lift the heels up, hold and breathe for 5. Think about the pelvic floor, how broad it is for 3. For 2, with intention, your bones go through the floor and your muscle pants draw all the way up. All right, I'm gonna show you with the toilet paper roll, but you can also use the ball. We're gonna go into a little lunge sequence here. And I want the idea to be really focused on how we find the pelvic floor and deep abdominals in a leg exercise of a lunge, okay? So the idea of the ball or the toilet paper is for it to serve as a spacer for your heel to be up off the floor. If that's not for your balance today, put your foot flat on the floor. Here we go. Load all of the weight intentionally into the ball of the right foot. It has a heel raise. And then we're gonna take a good step back with the left foot, but keep it natural. All right, let's just do a few here where we lower down, both knees bend a lot. And then believe it or not, even with your heel raised, I'm gonna ask you to get both legs straight, kneecaps absorb into quadriceps. All right, let's get into that core connection even more. On the way down, imagine you have a spring like we have on the machine, and it is resisting the upper inner thighs. And then as you inhale on the way up, that spring is assisting to raise you as the inner thighs draw up alongside the spine and out the crown of the head. Exhale as you lower it down. Resist the inner thighs coming apart, and then narrow them back together. Keep working on your end. Think about your body weight. Is it centered between both balls of feet or both feet? If you're loading more heavily forward or back, you're gonna lose that core connection. So make sure you can play around with your weight just a tiny bit, maybe an inch or so back and forth, not very much, but find that sweet spot where you start to feel the shake and the deep abdominal connection. That's where you're gonna connect to the pelvic floor, even though you thought this was a peach exercise, all right? Let's hold this next one down. If you've not chosen to take the arms up and out yet, please try that now, holding here. And we're gonna think about scissoring the upper inner thighs apart by 1 inch, hold and breathe. And now the challenge is gonna be about our breath. On our inhale, we're gonna elongate the spine. The pelvic floor broadens. On our exhale, we're gonna narrow around the spine and the pelvic floor lifts, holding that lunge. On the inhale, we're elongating the spine and the pelvic floor actually broadens at the base of the pelvis. And on the exhale, find your breath drawing around your ribs. It's hard to breathe. Last one. Inhale as we elongate, find the suppleness through the pelvic floor muscles. Hold in that lunge. Exhale, ribs draw closer to the spine. Send one more little bit of breath out than you thought you had. Inhale, return all the way upright, 2 straight legs. And with control, step the left foot forward. Excellent. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go onto our backs with your TP or with your ball. We are going to take our TP or the ball under the crook of the right knee. So the idea, again, is to keep this angle organized. So we're working from the hip crease and closer to the core. Here we go. What we're going to do is keep your head down if you have a sensitive neck, or hands can interlace underneath the base of the skull, tractioning you and providing support. From here, we're gonna float both legs into tabletop, and we're gonna send the right leg down. So similar to how we started, but now we have that knee angle restricted, and bring it back up. So send the right leg down, using the deep abdominals and the femur head doing so, and let's layer on. Now we're gonna do a little march. We're gonna send the left leg down as the right leg comes up. So now we're alternating sides, and see if you can find that handoff of that diagonal sling we talked about. So as we draw the right leg up, right inner thigh, left waistline work. As we draw the left leg up, the right waistline and left inner thigh work. So keep doing that. So you're marching at your own pace. And what I'm after you feeling through that march with the TP or the ball is this X in our body. So the left inner thigh is talking to the right waistline to pick it back up, and vice versa. The left waistline and the right inner thigh. So see if you can feel that handoff. Even visualize it if you're like, huh, what's she talking about? Just picture it in your mind's eye, and you'll be able to access that deep exchange. Keep the low back long. Make sure we haven't crowded the mat by pressing our low back onto the floor, okay? Let's go for 2 more, and we're gonna flip it over. Bring both feet all the way to the floor and come on up. All right, guys. We're gonna use the ball or the TP, or you're in closed parallel if you don't have either prop nearby. And And we're gonna come into a 4-point kneel with the ball halfway between the knees and toes. What I'd like us to do is just 3 little brief hovers. We wanna have our shins heavy and the tops of feet flat if that's accessible to you. We're gonna do a little roundness in the upper back. We're gonna inhale for length, and we're gonna exhale, finding the deep abdominals connected to the low belly, connected to the inner thighs, because we have that ball for 3, for 2, and slowly set it down. Keep the shallow curve in your spine. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift from under the ribs. Find that connection of the low belly, inviting the legs up. Hold and breathe for 3, 2, and slowly set it down. All right, this is gonna be our last one. We're gonna change to a downhill ski. Inhale as we lengthen. Exhale, lift from under the ribs. Hovering up, find the inner thigh connection to the opposite waistline for 3, 2, and bring the knees all the way down. Okay guys, staying here, roll the shoulders out if you need to, roll the wrists if you need to. We're gonna flip the toes under like so. I'm gonna walk my hands a little bit farther forward so I can end up in a plank position. And now we're gonna go into that downhill ski, but I'm asking for it with the ball today to help us access the pelvic floor and low belly even more sincerely. So we are exhaling to bring it back, inhaling, return to plank. Exhale as we lean back, inhale to plank. Exhale, crease at the hips. Inhale as we lengthen to a plank. Thinking about that ball providing us feedback. Keep working on your end. The ball is providing us the feedback of the midline of the body, talking through the pelvic floor and low belly to the waistline and all the way up the chain. So while you're working, rather than squeezing in on the ball, think about coming away from it and you'll feel deeper activation straight away. Even your body out, meet at the top of a plank for 5. We're holding the plank, see if you can release a little bit more on the ball for 2, and slowly bring the knees all the way to the floor. All right, let's go ahead and do that march on the other side. So we're gonna lay on our back. You're gonna use the TP or the ball, or just hold your knee in the best 90-degree angle-ish that you can. That's the goal, is to hold the knee quiet. The knee angle quiet, I should say. All right, here we go. We're gonna find a long spine, tailbone is heavy in the floor, and then we're gonna float the right leg up into a tabletop position. You can choose head up or down. And from here, we're gonna start with 2 of the left leg, lowering and raising by itself, so we can find that left inner thigh talking to the right waistline. Exhaling as we lower down. Inhaling as we bring it up. And now let's go ahead and add the right leg marching with it. So as the left leg comes up, the right leg lowers down, and you'll feel the opposite waistline working. So we're passing off that diagonal sling. We're doing a little pass back and forth, a little relay through the core, through the pelvic floor, inner thighs, and all the way through up to the diaphragm. So you want to think about the entire core working from the diaphragm to the pelvic floor, all the way around, kind of like a peanut. Find that length and space. Notice that we're not adding any wrinkles on the front side of the body. Let's go for 3. This is gonna be 2. Bring both legs to tabletop, and with control, we're gonna lower both legs all the way down. All right, guys, let's go ahead and come all the way up onto our feet, and we're gonna go into the lunge on the other side using the spacer under our foot. So, you can use the ball, toilet paper, flat foot, or just keep your heel up off the ground if you don't have a prop handy, okay? First thing we're gonna do is intentionally load the weight into the ball of the left foot, and then we're gonna take a natural step back with the right foot. We're on the balls of both feet. Try for straight legs at the top, and see if you can center your body weight out over the space between your feet. That's gonna help you access the deep abdominals and inner thighs. Let's do a few where we're bending the knees just to kind of get a handle of the range of movement. And we're gonna inhale as we rise up. And then we're gonna exhale as we scissor the upper inner thighs to lower down. So again, just like on the other side, we want to think about that spring, or maybe this time we can visualize a rubber band resisting us as we separate the legs on the way down, and then that rubber band helps to narrow and lift us as the kneecaps absorb into quadriceps at the top. Exhale as we lower down. Arms can come up and out in a V if that's accessible to you for additional cardio challenge. You guys know that you can always grab dumbbells if that is agreeable to your body today. We're inhaling, kneecaps absorb into quadriceps. Exhaling as we scissor down. That rubber band is resisting us on the way down and assisting us on the way up. Let's go for 2 more. Full range of movement. Exhale as we lower down. Inhale as we lengthen all the way up. And we're gonna hold this next one about halfway. Find that challenging middle range of movement. Play around with your weight. I needed to shift a little back to find even more inner thigh and pelvic floor connection. Hold and breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, with intention. Inhale, rise all the way up, kneecaps absorb. With intention, walk the right foot forward. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna set the ball in the toilet paper away, and we are going to go into a froggy with a push-up. And the idea is, again, we're gonna broaden the pelvic floor in this orientation rather than narrowing it with a spacer like one of the props, okay? So come into your best plank position, and we are going to have our heels touching and toes turned out. From here, keep the heels glued together. That's really important to find the middle line of the body. And we are going to inhale this time as we bend the knees a lot and shift the weight back. But we don't want to send our hips way up. In this position, hold and breathe. Isn't it fun? In this position, I want you to visualize the fan. It's broad on the base of the pelvis. And here we go. Now we're going to exhale, and we're going to narrow that fan. And now we're going to inhale and broaden the fan. And then we're going to exhale as we narrow and bring it back to start. We're going to layer on here, guys. We're going to inhale as we broaden, bring it about halfway back. Exhale, baby push up. Inhale as you lengthen back. Now we're going to exhale as we drop back. We're flipping the breath over. Inhale, baby push up. And exhale, bring it to start. Inhale, lengthening back. Exhale, baby push up. Inhale, bring it back. Flip the breath. Exhale as we shift behind us, heels glued together. Inhale for the push up here this time. Exhale to the top as we extend back. Last one, we're gonna hold it back and do 6 push-ups together. Here we go. Exhale down, inhale up. You have 5 more. Exhale down, inhale up. Stay with me, I'll do them if you'll do them. Exhale as we lower down. We have 3 more, stay with it. Heels are glued together. Exhale as we lower down. Inhale as we bring it up. This is our last one. Exhale down. Inhale, bring it up. Return to the plank holding 5, 4, 3, 2, and walk the knees all the way down. Oh my goodness. Okay guys, let's go ahead and finish. We're gonna do one more item of fun with the ball or the TP. We're gonna lay on our back and we're gonna go into a little in and out jump sequence with the legs extended. So always pay good attention to your low back. If it doesn't feel great to extend the legs all the way, make it a smaller range of movement. Laying all the way down, we're gonna have the ball or the TP halfway between the knees and the hips. First thing that happens, we're gonna interlace the hands behind the base of the skull. Go ahead and inhale, lengthen. Support the weight of your head with your hands. Keep the tailbone heavy. Peel the shoulder blades up if that's accessible to you. We're gonna exhale, float the legs up into a tabletop. Notice I always walk the pelvis down because I wanna create more space in my low back and through the spine entirely. All right, here we go. If it's accessible to you, straight in, legs extend towards the wall or through the wall in front of you. Exhale, flex the feet deeply. Find that brick wall on the back side of the legs. We're pushing the feet through that brick wall, and then we're gonna inhale, extend. Exhale, crease deeply. Find the brick wall. Inhale as you extend. Exhale, bring it in. If this is aggressive to your low back, all we're doing is going to do a much smaller range of movement, like so. So keep working at your own pace. I want you to, again, think about the pelvic floor. On the way out, as the legs go longer, it's narrowing the fan. On the way back in, it's broadening the fan and broadening the sitting bones. So narrow it on the way out. Move from deep in the core, not from the feet. Broaden it as it comes in. Narrow as it goes out. Broaden as it comes in. 2 more like that, guys. Narrow as you inhale. Reach for as much length as you've got today. And broaden the sitting bones as you bring it in. Last one. Hold the legs out at your full extension. Hold and breathe for 6, for 5. Pay attention to your low back. For 3, for 2. With control, broaden the sitting bones. Draw the legs in and hug your knees. So we don't need to make it a close hug. You can just kind of come here onto the shins. Ooh, release that low back. You can kind of stir a pot. You'll feel that the sitting bones are broad. The pelvic floor is supple. As we stir around. And go ahead and you can remove the ball or the toilet paper, take it off to the side, okay? Once we don't have a prop in there, you can go into a happy baby. We are going to grab onto the soles of our feet, or if that's not accessible to you, you can always grab onto your thighs. The idea is we're just really releasing through the inner thighs. Keep stretching on your end. The idea is to release through the inner thighs and the pelvic floor. You can rock side to side to gently massage your spine. Go ahead and allow the legs to lower. Let's roll to the side and come up by pushing on our hands. One last thing, we're gonna do a child's pose together. We're gonna broaden the knees, big toes are touching. Arms come long in front of you. Nice deep breath here, gang. Exhale as we're gonna walk it all the way up, and that'll do it. Beautiful job, you guys. I hope that helped you really find the deep connection from your low belly, inner thighs, pelvic floor to get the most out of all of the work we do, even when we think it might be a leg exercise or a core exercise. It's all gonna work together and you're gonna get the most out of it when you can find those connections.